All right, my fellow Costco shoppers, Costco is now selling the KEF LSXII LT. I love Costco. Aside from the $1.50 hot dog drink combination, where else are you gonna find some place that sells diamond rings down the aisle from a 50-pound bag of rice? Where else could you go looking for toothpaste and coming out with a 40-pack of Sour Patch Kids? Not because you need it, but because it was a good deal and I'm lonely. So if you're walking down the aisle of Costco and surprised to see something like this, well, these are KEF speakers. They're essentially made for using with your computer monitor or even as a system for your home theater. KEF is a British brand that's been around for about 60 years, and they're considered hi-fi audio, in my opinion, kind of like above Sonos, which sometimes you'll also see at Costco. And the price of these bad boys at $599 is pretty good. This is not a stripped down product. This is something you'll see on other websites for often $700 all the way to $1,000. So for $600, quick answer, if you're looking for something for your computer monitor or your home entertainment, I'd say yes, these are actually a pretty good buy and a pretty good intro to KEF. Now the fancier brother to this speaker is the KEF LX2. Essentially, they're very similar except for the more expensive 2 version has aux input. You can also connect the LSX2 wirelessly to the other speaker, which is kind of cool, though from the reviews I've heard it's a little bit hit or miss on how reliable that is. So for this one, because you don't have that, you're limited to the internal DAC on this speaker. You can connect to it via the ARC or the optical input. This is not going to be something you're necessarily going to want to grow with into a bigger surround sound system. This is kind of a one and done introduction to KEF, and from there, the only thing you really want to add to this would probably be a subwoofer. It's no secret that KEF has kind of an unusual look, so let's talk about what's actually going on here. Now you'll notice, if you're an astute observer, there's no grill. That's right, it's just one little hole. So does that mean it's like missing some drivers in there? No, actually, this is KEF's unique U design. The tweeter and the mid and low frequency driver are all in one in this guy. So if you look closely, you'll see this little guard over here that is called the Tangerine Waveguide. And essentially it's supposed to make the tweeter a little bit more efficient and just exert a little bit more of the high frequencies more easily because of the way it compresses the sound when it sits on top of the tweeter. For the low and mid frequency here, you've got something called Z surround, which is this weird little like rolly rubber shaped circle. And essentially that's just supposed to help with the mightiness of the sound and reduce some of the refraction for the tweeter. Essentially, what all of this technology does is it makes sure that the audio hits your ear at the same time, which I don't know if I could actually tell, but it also is supposed to widen the sweet spot of the speaker. And I can tell you, I sat really close to these in like not optimal positions, and I actually thought it still sounded pretty good. When I first got these home, the big thing that I needed to do with my TV was mess with the PCM setting. Instead of having the TV on auto for the eARC, I had to set it to PCM. Once I did that, these things connected pretty much flawlessly. Now, if you like a speaker that doesn't need any sort of input, you don't have to download an app, this may not be the speaker for you. Even though you can use this without Wi-Fi, using the KEF Connect app just makes it a lot easier for changing source settings and putzing around with it. So if that scares you a little bit that you might want to use an app with this, I would say stay away. If I was to rate the overall cons with this speaker, I would say, this is still an entry-level speaker into the audio world. Though it sounds fantastic, it's not something you'd necessarily grow with if you're going to grow your audio system beyond a 2.1 system. The other issue I, for some reason, had was I couldn't get Qobuz to connect to these over my Google Chromecast. I tried lowering the bit rate to see if that was the problem, but it just wouldn't work. However, Spotify worked flawlessly, so your experience may differ on that if you like to use Qobuz. I've been using the KEF Zeo for a little while, and that thing is 4 times the cost of these. And honestly, I kind of think I preferred using these over my KEF Zeo. The only reason I like using the KEF Zeo and will probably stick with that is because I do prefer the low profile form factor of the Zeo over these. Though they're so good looking that it does kind of look nice in your living room. It looks very sophisticated. It doesn't just look like a box that shoots out sound. It looks like this beautiful little sculpted creature that you can proudly display next to your TV. The only thing I want to warn you about with getting into KEF is that these are abnormally cheap compared to the rest of their lineup. If you buy these and you want to have a setup that is all KEF, well, I'm going to tell you it can be pretty expensive. Just the stands for these are about $400 on most websites. And if you want to get a KEF sub, those are also kind of expensive. I have the KC62, which is a $1,600 sub. You do not need to get that sub, but the unique thing about that one is it's just extra small and puts out a lot of sound for its size. You can get any sub to work with this speaker and you'll be okay. I definitely would recommend getting a sub. You'll just find that it's a little bit lacking on that aspect if you're trying to watch movies and other kinds of stuff that might have some low end that you really want to hear. So if you are in the Costco aisle and still trying to figure out whether or not you should get these, Costco has a really good return policy. So if you don't like them, it's relatively easy to just bring them back. And if you have never explored the world of bookshelf speakers, you may be amazed at the distinct amount of stereo separation you get versus a soundbar. When you have good stereo separation, the sound just seems to come to life a little bit more. With a soundbar, you will get more of that centralized audio pushing away from a center channel, but there's nothing quite like good stereo separation. So this is a win. This gets a Danny Pops approved thumbs up. So let me know if you're gonna go to Costco and buy these. So if you made it to the end of the video, let me know what's your favorite thing to eat at Costco. Do you like the $1.50 hot dog, or do you like the, I think it's like about $1 to $2 pizza slice? So thanks for staying till the end, and I'll see you on the next video. So see you later, bye.